Hello YouTube and welcome to GrunfWorks. This is another video tutorial for Kerbal Space Program Enhanced Edition on the PlayStation 4. Now, I'm so happy that you liked the previous video, and I figured I make a couple of, very simple layman's terms tutorials in terms of how to do and how to deal with the KSP on the console and how to just start. So, I'll be starting anew, and what I would recommend that you do, I'm just gonna be, let's rename the game, pressing square, and instead of default, let's just call it SCI, because I would recommend you, if you're just starting, do choose science. If you don't want to start with tutorials or something like that, the reasons for starting the science is give you the right balance. Career would overwhelm you with contracts, things that you need to do. It's also a little hand-holding, but it also limits your creativity. Sandbox would overwhelm you with too many components and things to build that you wouldn't know where to start. So I would say science gives it a good balance between the two, and you don't have to worry about parts, part count, and other things. So I would say this gives you the best possible entry if you're not feeling like doing the whole scenarios and the tutorials, how to get around it. Yes, and this is what we are using and what we are suggesting to do. So, as you can see, our astronaut complex or everything is fully upgraded, unlike what I have shown in the campaign setting. And we have a bunch of Jab, Bill, and Bob, and we have the tracking station fully fleshed out, and we have the meat of things is the research and development. And here is where you have your tech tree. As you can see, I have no science, and in amount of currencies that you have only science here. You don't have reputation, you don't have funds to worry about. So that's also a reason. I have a very basic set of components, and this is good enough because I want to show you how to build a very simple rocket. So let's go to the vehicle assembly building. Like I said, I'm assuming that you have just gotten KSP, you don't know what to do, and you just want to build a rocket, launch it, and see how it works. So, welcome to the vehicle assembly building. Now, first, each rocket would contain of 3 components. Basically the payload or the capsule that you'll be putting in, and in our case that would be this Mark 1 command pod. So I just selected it with X, and I have decided to have it here. Okay, now the second part, what you want to add is the fuel tank if you are using liquid fuel, or even more simple, the motor, the rocket engine that will be propelling this rocket above, high into the skies. So since we're only starting with this, we're only having the RT5 Flea solid rocket booster, and that's why I'm telling you it's very simple and good that you start with science, because don't have hundreds of engines to choose from and trying to figure out what to use, what not to use. So, of course, everything that goes up must come down, and sorry for that pop-in, but if it has to come down, then we need some sort of return method, and the preferred return method for the rocket is the parachute. So you go all the way down here at the bottom, which is called Utility tab, press it, and you will see the Mark 16 parachutes. So we select it, and we place it on top of the capsule. And this is the most basic rocket that you can build. However, it's not yet complete. If you try to fly it, you will see what happens. So just adding the rocket motor and the parachute, while necessary, you need an extra step. Okay, so we put it here, Jab is okay, and I'm gonna press the circle to turn on the stability assist, means that the rocket goes where it should, and then we press the stage. And guess what happens? As you can see, the rocket did fire, but the chute also opened. And well, that is one of the most common mistakes that you can do when you're starting out with KSP. We forgot to check your staging, and you will very often hear it to happen. So I'm going to just now revert back to the vehicle assembly building. There is this tiny step that you need to check. So this is a rocket as it was. Now I'm pressing the triangle here to bring up this radial menu, and I'm pressing up when it says edit stages. So I confirm with the X, and you can see now in the right hand side we have the ability where it says 0 in the corner. We have two things. I'm moving it just here so you can see it. We have the engine icon for the rocket engine, and below we have the icon for the parachute, and as I move to them they're highlighted. However, this 0 means that they're both being fired at the same time when I press stage. So what I want to do is press left and click on this plus, so this will actually make them separated. So I will take the rocket engine and put it below, because the order or the sequence of firing is going from the bottom towards the top. So now everything should be correct. Press circle to exit the staging. So first the rocket engine fires, and then the parachute will fire. Once again, pressing options, let's launch. Okay, once again, turning a little bit so that we see the Kerbal Space Center, pressing the SAS circle. It's very handy. I mean, it's not strictly necessary, but you want the stability when you have already the pilot. If it's not working, that means that you don't have the pilot in the seat, or that your unmanned probe doesn't support the stability assist function. Okay, enough with me yapping about. Let's stage, pressing the X once. And now you can see the only thing that fired was the rocket engine itself. So that's pretty much it, how to build and launch a rocket. Now, as you can see, the icon for the parachute in the bottom left corner is red, which means it's not safe to press deploy for the parachute. And that's because the surface speed, which you can see above the nav ball, has been too great. Now the surface speed has been decreasing. We are still going up. As you can see on the vertical speed indicator next to the dial top middle, you can see the small circle dial that is now around on 100, and it's just going down. So the icon to the left where it says 12,000 meters is your altitude, and now going down is actually the speed, vertical speed. And the surface speed you can also see in the nav ball. We are going around 100 meters per second, so I'm going to press the parachute before we get too high of the speed. So I pressed X, and there you go. I can even disable the stability assist, which will make us maybe nosedive or whatnot. However, if you want to do some science, you can do so now. Oops. Let's see. I'm zooming in with the left one and the right thumbstick, and then I want to do some science because that's what we came to do. So I press the left 3 button, the analog controller in. I go on the capsule, not the crew hatch. Press the, I believe it's square, and there on the list you can scroll down, and you have crew report. And that's the way you do science. 1-1 crew report, the shores look inviting, and as you watch the waves roll into the coast. It's 3.5 science. It's not a lot. We want to keep the experiment. Press the square again, and that means we have performed some science. This is really the basic of the basics. Oh, look at that. I'm going to press left 3 again, in case your craft is not responding to controls, because it could be you're in the cursor mode, which is indicated by the fact that you see the cursor. So press left 3 again, and as you press it, you can once again regain control of your vessel. Right. So let us go into the time acceleration mode, because I don't want to wait until I fall down to the all 200 meters. Oh, Well, actually I could, because it's not that crazy. With a right thumbstick you can change the camera view, locked, free, and auto. Yeah, auto I think it will do. And as we descend on the Kerbal Space Center, we have landed. So I'm gonna just see if I can tip over the rocket. I cannot apparently, but you can actually perform the EVA, which means that you can get your Kerbal to go out. If you scroll with once again left 3 to get the arrow, and then press on the Kerbal's icon EVA, so the Kerbal goes out. And then what you want to do is once again press the circle once you hover over the Kerbal. So no, that's the crew hatch. Oops, wrong button. Doesn't matter. Let's go once again on the EVA. Sorry about that. So climb out or board. So we can press the X for let go. Yeah, we will fall down and we won't be able to return, but we will do some much needed science. Some more science which you can get is once again pressing the left 3 icon. You get a cursor, hover over Kerbal, and pressing the square. And then you can take the surface sample, which will give you a total of 9 science, which is very handy, especially in the beginning, for the EVA report. And you can also plant a flag, which is something you will be doing a lot when you come to other planets. But we're getting ahead of ourselves. Yeah, there we go. Site name, let's just call it first, as some of my commenters like to do. R, S, and T, R2, perfect. You could put the black text if you want to. I'm just gonna accept it as it is. Hold on. Accept it, and that's it. Right. So, since we cannot climb back into the capsule, maybe actually we can. Oh, I've tipped it over. Watch this. This is fun. Now, let us go back into the capsule, walk to the door, press the square to grab, and then press the circle to board. Perfect. Now, we have gotten some science, and actually we can go and recover the space vessel. Or our capsule, call it whatever you want. So this is the simplest tutorial on how to build a rocket, and it's very, very simple. Just remember you need to go up and you need to go down. So we have gotten 17 science. Let us press next, and we can use this science in our R&D. So 17.5 science, which is great. Let's press the left 3 so that I get the cursor. Okay, I cannot. So for the 17 science, I can definitely research basic rocketry, which will give me liquid fuel tanks and engines. So it changes how you work a little bit at the game. And also I'll take the bottom one, which will give me decouplers and some more sciencey things. So let's research that as well. So these are the basics, and let me just quickly show you same principles how to build the liquid engine capsule. So here we have what we have built, and I'm gonna be pressing, I'm used to this kind of, so I press L3, X, so I remove this, put it over here, and once again press X, and I'm gonna replace that with liquid fuel tank. It's under section fuel tanks. Pop it in, and currently we have only one engine, which is the swivel rocket engine. Oh, the swivel is the first. I was thinking that the Reliant was the first one. Okay. Well, as you can see, once again, it has messed up our staging. So we need to once again triangle, go up, edit stages, we increase, and then we put the rocket motor to be the first one to fire. Exit the staging. And also, if you want a little bit more stability, especially at launch, you could go under aerodynamics and then press here to add the fins if you need to. You don't need them because the swivel engine at this point will be doing things for you. However, if you choose to, let me just see if I can. Okay, this is the rotate. How do I edit symmetry? Is it like this and then toggle overlays? Yeah, change symmetry to radial 3. Yes, I think that will be good enough. So that will give us 3 fins around our rocket, as you can see. Probably it will also jeopardize Jeb's exit. Now, the science part that we got the too hot thermometer, as you can see. That's one more experiment that you can add. So I decide I'm gonna put it here on the side. So we will have a little bit more sciencey things to do. And it's also triple symmetry at the moment. So we will have 3 of them, as you can see. I might actually not want to do that because that would impede the Jeb's exit. So once again, menu, edit, change symmetry, radial 2 should be enough. So we get 2, 1 on each side, as you can see. 1 here and 1 there. Perfect. Now let's just go for the launch. The difference, what I wanted to show you between the initial one, which was the solid rocket booster or SRB, and the liquid fuel engine, is that on the liquid fuel engine you can actually regulate the throttle. So you can choose how much of the throttle you can, and you do that by pressing down, like the directional pad down for the minimum and up for the full throttle. And if you want to regulate it, then you hold the left one button and then increase the throttle up or down. To show you what I mean, I've set the throttle to 0 and I have pressed the stage. Whew, look, nothing happens. So, however, if I press up, we're once again going full speed. If I press down, we turn off the engine. And if I press left one and gradually increase, you can see our thrust increasing more and more. Also, this engine is a swivel one, so meaning it can turn left, right, whatnot. Now I had only this little bit of fuel, so I wasn't able to show you. Okay, let me just show you how to also perform the science experiment. I'm just pointing my rocket nose down. It doesn't really matter that much. Left one and right thumbstick in or up to increase. Sorry a little bit for the too detailed descriptions of what I'm doing. Okay, let's press X for staging. So we do stage the parachute and we are gonna be descending down. So while we are in the air, I do want to perform the thermometer reading. So square on that and we say log the temperature, please. Keep the experiment, and as you can see, the parachute fired nicely. That means we will be, let's just angle it a little bit. I do want to tilt it over. Normally you don't want to do that, but we landed on the engine and it fell apart. Perfect. Now we want to perform another experiment here. Square, log temperature, so we have 2 times measure the temperature. Temperature readings are quite literally normal. Keep the experiment and let's see if we can get Jeb out. I'm not overly confident. EVA, oh, we could. Perfect. Let's see if, actually let's board and let's see if we can make instead the crew report from here. Mark 1 command pod, scroll down, yes we can. Crew report, 1.5 size. This is our space center, we are home. Perfect. Once again, EVA, let go, come on, let go. There we go, and let's see if we can perform some more science with the Jeb. Once again, the EVA report, sorry, not the more module crew. EVA report. Report from the KSC. The first time we flew on the other side, so it was a different biome. And you will notice that you can actually take different measurements from different biomes. Right. Let's go back, grab, board, and let's recover the vessel. L3, recover the vessel. And guys, this is actually the main differences between and also a simple guide how to create and launch rockets. Let me know, smash that like button if you like what you're seeing here, if you like these tutorials, and I will be making some more advanced ones in terms of what is staging, how it works, and how to get into space and onwards. But for now, thank you very much for watching. This is GrunfWorks signing off.